Hello everybody and welcome to another missile command repair. Another one. I just got this one out. I actually just finished a missile command repair and we're going to roll right into another one. I did not record that one, but I decided to record this one. So there you go. Alright, this one has a note right here says not repaired. It has a tag that says, yesterday's arcade, parts only. We're going to change that. We're going to repair this thing. A lot of corrosion and nastiness right here. I will wash this thing first off. And if I have to use some kind of acid on here to get some of this corrosion off, I will. I think this will clean up nicely, though, with just some simple green and hot water. It's missing part here, missing a crystal. All three of these missile commands that I repaired for this customer were missing the crystal. So we'll do that. We got some red marks on some of the parts around here. Don't know what that's all about. It looks like that's about it. Broken cap, broken cap, broken cap. Oh, it looks like there's three broken caps. These sockets will all have to be replaced. These are not the typical Atari style sockets, but they're even worse. These junkers. Oh, those are garbage. Those sockets are terrible. I have to look at these chips and make sure we don't have broken legs. So I think first thing I'll do is put a crystal in it, and then we will, well, what is this, I wonder? C9. That is that 15, it's these two that control the trackball movements. So this thing will run without these chips, so I'm not going to even worry about those two. Yeah, it's missing both of them, and these are the chips that are in the trackball circuit. So we'll put a crystal in this thing, and we'll fire it up and see what it does. What do we get? Okay, new crystal. One thing I noticed when I was putting the crystal in is I saw this and I was like, ooh, that's ugly. I turned this over and looked at what is that, and it's a RAM. So somebody replaced that RAM right there with an NTE part. So yeah, I don't know if that's broken traces or what's going on there, but it's something to keep my eye on. I'll probably end up replacing that part right there at some point. But yeah, so crystal's in. We'll go ahead and fire it up. Okay, we are plugged in. Let's turn it on. The LED works. That's good. The last one I did, the LED was out. Well, we're getting something. That's kind of good. Well, this ain't good, but you know what I mean. We got something on the screen anyway. Some signs of life. Let's go to test and see if we get anything. Reset. Nope. Nothing. This thing's got a big X on it. I wonder if the CPU's bad. I could try putting a new CPU in it just to see what that X is all about. Let me do that. Let me grab a 6502 and throw it in there. Let's do it real time. 6502. Okay. Okay. Let's see what we get. Anything different? Kind of up there, but it's kind of the same thing. All right, well, first thing we're going to have to do with this is if I want to use the Fluke on this thing, I need to replace this socket. These sockets have to go. So first things first is I'm replacing the sockets. Before I do that, I don't want to put sockets on a nasty board. So I'm going to remove the sockets and then I'm going to clean the board. And then when it's cleaned and dried, I'll come back in and repopulate the sockets and be ready to go. I have to replace this one too. So, okey doke. Let's do some maintenance. All right, in taking this thing apart, I have discovered underneath that tape, well, yeah, there's no chip in there. I was thinking maybe it came up on the tape, but no, there's no chip here. That's the 8-bit bipolar ROM, the color bit chip, bipolar color palette ROM. So. Yeah, that's missing. Yeah, so that's a surprise. I got the socket tops popped up off of here. I'll go ahead and remove all of this stuff, clear out all of the solder, and then this thing needs to go in for a wash. Also in this discovery is this ROM has a broken leg. It's the only one of the set, so I can just repair that. And the Pokey chip has broken legs. The two up top are broken. I can solder legs onto that and see if it works. So I can do chip repairs on those. So we'll see what we get. But yep, on to removing all of this. All right, and here we are. There's a lot of fluxy mess on here yet. You got to use a lot of flux on boards that are corroded like this to get these parts out clean. And I did break one track. There was one trace that broke. I'll show you where it's at. It'll be an easy fix. See that trace right there that goes down into the through hole on the left there, right kind of in the middle of the screen? That's the one trace that broke. So that's an easy fix. I did remove this RAM because I just didn't like the way that looked. I removed it. I'll clean that up. I got these sockets out and I got them cleared. I got all the solder cleared out of all of these. You know, I got it. It's ready for new sockets. It just needs to be cleaned up. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to clean this. I'm going to remove this tag because I need to clean this board. This tag needs to get removed. And yeah, I need to thoroughly clean this board. Alright, I got the board very nicely cleaned up, as good as I'm going to get it anyway. Now there was a lot of corrosion over through this area, and I ended up just taking the old drill and wire wheel to it and cleaning it up that way. Kind of cleaning up all off of that corrosion. I just wire wheeled it. It came off pretty good. Pretty happy with it. This thing is all good to go, ready for new sockets. I got to do that one trace repair. I had some 4116 RAM laying around. I just got my Inquisitor tester out and tested those, and 4 out of 5 were good, so those are actually, I need one of them for this board, and I put 3 in back into stock. Cleaned the ROM chips up as good as I could, and yeah, so I still have to repair that one leg and the 2 on the Pokey. So yeah, we're ready to start putting some sockets in this thing and getting it prepared, getting it all good to go, and getting it ready to turn in. We got some white residue up here. Lacquer thinner will take care of that. To take that white residue junk off. So we'll clean the back of this board with lacquer thinner later. Yep. I think that's all I'm going to do today, because I did work on the other Missile Command the first half of today. Got it running, and I let it run its 3-hour test, and it passed. So that one is good to go. And then I started working on this one, and I've got this far. I'm going to call it a day. And we'll pick back up tomorrow with the sockets and stuff like that. So see you then. Okay, I got all the sockets in the board. I've replaced these 2. Remember, these chips were missing. I replaced that RAM with a socket and a tested good RAM. Sockets. I fixed that trace. I fixed the chip legs. The 2 Pokey. Here's the 2 on the Pokey. And this chip. Frankenstein. So we're ready to populate it. I kind of do need to clean the back of the board. I'll do that. I don't want to breathe in. I don't want to lacquer thinner this right now. So I'm going to wait. So I really just don't want to deal with the fumes of that right now. So I'm going to populate the chips, and we'll plug it in and see what it does. Okay, we are populated. These 2 chips up here. Now, this is the color bit ROM, the color palette ROM, if you will. From the other Missile Command board that I did, I had to replace this because this chip is bad. I don't feel like getting my programmer out and burning another one right now. I know what it'll look like if the board's working. I know what it looks like with this in it. This thing is completely jacked up. And well, I guess what I'm saying is I know what it looks like with this chip in it. So it don't look right. That's for sure, because that's no good. So we're all populated. So let's go ahead and see what we get. And on. Yeah. Nada. Yeah, it's not doing anything. With this bad bipolar ROM in it, you can actually see the game working. The graphics are just messed up. So this isn't doing anything. So, and this is not it's not a CPU issue. So I could get the little scope turned on, hooked up, and just probe CPU signals, make sure control signals of CPU are working. This could be a dead CPU. You know what? Maybe I should just go ahead and put a new one in since it's got an X on it. I don't know what that's all about, but yeah, it's not missing anything else. I replaced the caps that were broken off. I replaced those. We got this Pokey. Yeah, it's complete. Everything's there. I didn't put these in backwards, did I? Nope, they're in good. Okay, yeah, I guess first thing is let me put a new CPU in it, see if it does anything different. And then we will little scope it. Okay, I put a new CPU in it, and it is doing something different. It's doing something very rhythmic up there, you can see. That tells me that this CPU is probably no good. So I'm just going to put that in the pile of not good parts. And this CPU will go along with this board. Let's see if it'll go into test. Nada. Alright, little scope. Alright, just doing some poking around on drivers. And it's all the data bit. Well, this one, no. This one and this one are address drivers. And the outputs look fine. They look okay, but that does not mean they're okay. But I do believe that those are fine. I marked this one bad, but I don't think it's bad. It could be. It's got a bit on here, if I can find it, that looks like that. That's an output. Now I'll show you where the rail is. There's the 5-volt rail. So we should be driving up there like that. Where they should be driving up to. But this one is, where'd it go? Right there. I don't like that. I need to find out what's holding that like that. And all of these are connected to that bit. That could be floating. It could be if it's not floating, it's borderline. But those are data bits. That is a data bit that is being held like that. I don't feel any excessive heat. So unfortunately, it's not an easy find. I end up having to just clip that leg of each of them until it frees up. I hate doing that, but that's really the only way to figure out what's holding it. When a particular signal is held to a particular state and it's connected to multiple chips, and it's just hard to know which one's holding it where, you know. So I believe that the ROMs go back. This is one of them, maybe. Yeah, this buffer is for these four, I believe, and these two go back through this driver. Yeah, and they're all connected CPU side, so yeah, that's unfortunate. I'm going to have to figure out what that's all about. You know what I can do, though? I could put the Fluke on this thing and test the RAM, but this is the RAM driver back, I believe. Yeah, the RAM driver back is also connected. Yeah. I gotta fix that signal. That signal needs to be found and cleared up. So, yep. All right. Okay, we've got Texas Instrument parts here. So I'm not gonna assume those first. And then we have these Signetics parts. There's a lot of them. This one is a Texas Instruments, so I won't think it's that one right. I won't suspect that one. Then you got these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. I mean, it could be a Texas Instruments part, but odds are it's not. So I'm going to start with this one, and I'll clip that leg and see if it frees that signal. Alright, this section over here, I have decided to just go ahead and remove some chips, and you'll see why. Pretty nasty. Got a lot of green nastiness underneath here. Under some of these chips. So I want to clean the board underneath these chips. I'm going to remove this one too. Is that one. I clipped them legs. That thing just fell right off of this chip. So I'm going to remove that, and I think that's all. I think that's all I need to do. Maybe this one too. Yeah, I'll probably remove this chip as well. And this one maybe. I don't know. But I got to clean this area up. It's pretty nasty, so. Alright, yeah. Let me do that, and then repopulate these few parts, and then we can move forward. Because, yeah, this was just bothering me. It's just really nasty and just corroded. Needs to be cleaned up. Alright, so I got the pins all out of the board, and I think it cleaned up very nicely. Take a look. All that corrosive junk pretty much removed, all of it. So now I got to get the desoldering gun out and clear out all these holes, but yeah, it really came out nicely. Turned out good. Cleaned up really good, so I'm happy with that. So we got some parts to replace. It's a 244 times 1, 2, 3, 4 244s. And some other logic. I don't even know what they are. I have to look them up. So, but it didn't really matter what they were. They had green under them, so I cut them out and just, you got to do what you got to do. So, all right, we'll get that all replaced. Thing will be looking good. All right, we're repopulated. And let's fire it up. See if it does anything good. Oh, same nonsense. But anyway, even though it's junk, at least we know that we're good here. You know, we don't have that corrosion junk. We know we got good chips here. We know these are good. No corrosion crap. So, at this point in time, you know what I want to do is actually I want to use the little scope and just probe the enables for the ROM and just some kind of stuff like that. Make sure the ROMs are being activated before we get the Fluke out. Just do a little more general poking around, and then we'll have to get the Fluke out and start checking some stuff. Okay, the Fluke is out. And I just hit a RAM check. And it's giving me a bit error. Bit 2. No. It says 02, right? 02. On a missile command, how that lines up. This is the 0 part of that. This is the 2 part of that. So this is the 1, 2, 4, 8. It's telling me 2. So it's this RAM right here. That's what it's telling me, is this guy right here is bad. So what I want to do is loop that. And then I'll go grab a 4116 from the stash, the memory bank. Come back over and we'll jump this over that chip and see if it clears that bit up. And it is not clearing it up. Yes, it is. It's messing with it. I just can't get it on there right. Just trying to... There we go. Just like that. There we go. So that needs to be replaced. See? Yeah. So let me grab my red paint pen. You are bad. While we're at it, let's check some ROM stuff. And that was F25A, I think. I just got done doing 2 missile commands, so I think that's what that is. Hey, that's good news. Pretty sure. Cool. It's all by memory. These ROM signatures are just by memory. And that is not correct. CBE2. That's this one right here. That's that guy. So let's move on to the next one. Oh, I don't remember. I don't remember what it is. We'll see if I remember. See if I remember what it tells me. EF62 is correct. That is the right signature. So let's go to the next one. And that... I don't remember. B25... I don't remember. B25D or something like that. Yeah, B25D. So that one's good. And wait. This one I remember is easy. B888. Yep. So they're all good except for this one. I'm going to look through my stash of ROMs. I might have an original set of Missile Command ROMs, and if I do, I'll pop one there free of charge. But if I have to program one, of course, I have to charge for that. But I'm going to see if I have a set in my stash, and if I do, I'll freebie that ROM. But yeah, so we got a bad RAM, a bad ROM, and yeah. So next thing, I'm going to go ahead and replace those parts, see if I can dig one of these up, and then see what we get. At some point, I'm going to have to program this ROM, the bipolar ROM. Well, I checked my stash, and I have every ROM except for this one. So I got to get the programmer out and program one of these. And I'll go ahead and program one of these while I'm at it. So that'll take care of that. I got the RAM replaced, by the way. So that's good to go. So we'll just get these two parts programmed and move forward. Okay, I've got the ROM programmed. Now I'm programming the bipolar ROM, which is 27S19. I've got the file loaded, and we will program. There you go. Just like that, bipolar ROM is programmed. So we'll put these in the board and see what happens. Okay, ROM, bipolar. So let's fire it up and see what happens. Still nothing. All right. Well, I think what I want to do is put the Fluke back on it and just make sure that we're good with all of our ROMs and such. Let's actually try to put it into test. Nothing. Okay. And I did probe around the signals on the CPU, and I didn't see anything alarming at all. It is just resetting. Reset is toggling. So yeah, let me make sure that that's not a bad signal, a bad decoding signal to this. Make sure I can read it with the Fluke. Yep, so now we're good on the ROMs. And let's just do a check on the RAMs. That's a big range, so I'm going to go ahead and cut away and cut back if it either fails or succeeds. Success on the RAM short. Now I'm going to read this dip switch. That is a read at 4A00, and it says BF. I want to loop that. That should be FF. It's not. It's not changing at all. Is it this one? No. All right, that's interesting. Let me just make sure. Option switches are 4A. It is 4A00. Read at 4A00, and I'm looping it. That is this dip switch. and I've got them all to one way right here, and it says BF. And if I switch them all this way, this should be FF. And it's still BF. This should be 00. And it's still BF. So that's an issue. We cannot read our dip switches. So the game will not run like that. So let's fire up little scope. Get this thing ready to roll. We're looping right now. We're looping a read at that dip switch, and that's this guy right here. So let's see if it's being activated, and it is not. 'Tis not. Yeah. That's the enable signal right there, and it should be enabling. Yeah. So output circuits, I'm looking for this page, address decoding. Input signals, M5 139. I think I replaced that. M5 139 is right here. Is it the high side or low side of it? It is the low side of M5. And that's not being enabled. So I don't really love the way that looks. These are all just going to be high because it's not being enabled. So let's look at the enable signal for that. It comes from R5. So let's look at R5, 1, 2 out to 3. And that's this one that I replaced. High, low, high all the time. Okay. Now we gotta just keep going backwards. Something's dead. So that is the signals. Is that H or something IO? I don't know. HIO, NIO, WIO, and read. Let's look over here. That's reset. There's read. Okay, read comes off of C3, 4, 5 out to 6. C3, that's right here. C, no, that's D. I can't see, I can't get to it. Darn it. Alright, let me go off camera a little bit and mess around, and I'll come back when I find out what's dead. Okay, I found that I/O signal. It's right there on the bottom there. And that is processed through R5, pins 4 and 5 out to 6. R5, pins 4 and 5 out to 6. Here's 4. There's your problem right there. 4 is floating. Here's 5. And this will be high all the time. So what is pin 4? What is that floating signal? Four goes to K9. It's either K7 or K9. 5 out to 6. K7 is right here. And that's it right there. K7. Let's try 5 out to 6. Well, here's 1 out to 2. 3 to 4. 5, which is high, and 6. Okay. So far this chip looks good. Oh, wait a minute. Well, that's just a floating input. And K9 is not. So we might have a bad trace here on that. K7, 04, 5, out to 6, and it's looks proper. So let me see if I got a bad trace. Okay, I did a little continuity checking, and pin 4 of this guy comes up to this via right here and then runs over. It runs over right through here. It comes down here, and it goes right underneath this big track right there. It comes over through here, and then it jumps over to here, and it keeps going way over to there. There's a break right here where I had cleaned it. I didn't inspect it well, and I just need to make a jump right there. A little bit of a trace repair. So I'll do that, and then we'll see what happens. Alright, and here would be the fix. The fix is in. Alright, let's give it a shot. Okay, we're back to being hooked up. I got everything turned on. And let's try reading that dip switch. Read 4A 00. Now it says 00. Let's loop it. And let's go to FF. There we go. Now we're reading. Okay. Let's go back to 00. I don't really know exactly what it should be, but it's very good. So I'm going to go through off camera one more time and go through all of the ROMs, just sanity check, and then we'll put the regular CPU in it. We're good with the Fluke now. We've got RAM checked. I'll check ROM one last time. We can read our switches, so that's really all I'm doing with the Fluke. So I'll do that, go through these one more time, and then be ready to pop the regular CPU in it and see what it tells us. Alright, well, I just found out that this Pokey is dead. The one that I redid the legs to it. Frankensteined it. I'll put this back in the board to see what let you see what it's doing. I put a new Pokey in it and put it in test, and it comes up good in test, which is good. But if I take it, well, yeah. There you go. How about that? I will show you what this board does with this Pokey. So let's Power down. Turn this off. Remove the good Pokey. Insert the dead Pokey. Fire it up. And you'll see what it does. It does this. And if I try to put it into test, it just sits here like this. Yeah, so this Pokey is a great big turd. So, there you go. This is a nice new Pokey, new old stock. Anyway, okay, good. Tried to save it by Frankensteining legs onto it. There you go. One thing that's kind of, I don't know exactly, but I thought pushing the switch back put it into test. I'm going to have to grab the last missile command board that I repaired, because I could have swore that should be test. Let me do that. Let me grab the other missile command board. I'm going to plug it in and see if it goes into test when I turn it on. Because for some reason I'm thinking, I could be wrong, but for some reason, because some of these are different. Some of these seem to work different for whatever reason, but let me just do that for my own sanity. Okay, you just got this one out and put it back on. This is the one I repaired earlier today. I did not do a video on this one. This one would have made a good video because every time I fixed something on this board, another thing would fail. I replaced a total of 15 logic chips on this board, plus a Pokey, and the color ROM needed replaced. Yeah, so all right, well, let's fire this one up and see if it goes into test. Nope. Okay. Yeah, it's just me. Okay, cool. So we'll remove this board. Real time. Put the other one back on. This one has to run the run test. And you can see without messing with that switch, I will fire it back up. And it should. There you go. So we need to check this stuff. Right? We need to plug in the trackball. Okay, trackball is plugged in. We need to put it into test. Boop. Okay, trackball works. Up, left, right, down, works perfect. And our input switches. Here's our 3 Fire buttons. Good. 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 And then I need to hook this up to do the other input switches, such as coin. Good. Good. Start. Good. Start. Coin. Good. Coin. Start 2. Good. Slam. Good. Coin. Other coin. Good. That's it. That's all of them. So all of the inputs are good. Trackball works. Out of test. Now I just let this thing sit and run for 3 hours. And that'll do. Beautiful. So, what did we need to do to this? Oh, you know what I want to do? I want to verify, is this CPU, remember the CPU with the X? Let's verify that that's actually good or bad. Okay. Tis dead. Yeah, that CPU is dead. All right. Dead. All right. That's going to do it. So I'll let this one run for 3 hours. I'll come back out after 3 hours, do another test like I did. Trackball test. All of the input switch tests. And then this baby will be ready to go home. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Well, let's go through what did we replace. The 1 ROM. CPU. 2 RAM chips. TTL 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 TTL chips, the 2 CMOS chips in the trackball circuit. Bipolar ROM for the color bits. It was missing, remember. And a Pokey. Darn it. And I will have to replace that. But I don't think you guys need to see that. Alright. That's going to do it, fellas. Nice and cleaned up. Remember, it was really corroded and nasty up here. I cleaned that up first with the wire wheel. And then I ended up just removing and replacing some chips that had green corrosion underneath them. And just cleaned it up. So it's looking good now. Yeah, this thing lost some of its skin when I used that wire wheel, so no big deal. That's going to do it. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you learned something in this video. I hope you were entertained. And we'll see you all on the next Classic Arcade Repair. Bye for now.